Welcome, dear guests. Welcome to the Impact Day 2025. I'm happy to see you all in this nice Neue Aula of Heidelberg University. This event, organized by High Innovation, the transfer agency of Heidelberg University, is dedicated to promoting innovation and bridging the gap between groundbreaking research and real-world application. Impact Day 2025 unites academia and industry to address pressing challenges and drive change by fostering exchange and networking. My name is Ira Stoll. I'm born and raised in Heidelberg, and I studied human medicine here at the University of Heidelberg. Since 2023, I'm CEO and founder of myScribe, a medtech company based in Mannheim. I'm proud to guide you through this Impact Day today. So, enough words for the moment. We will start with an exciting keynote. The title of this keynote is The Creator's Keynote. Vote for your future. You can all vote for the future in a few minutes and be a creator. Just take the color card, which is under or on your chair, and listen to the spectacular presentation of a pioneering journey to the future. He's always way ahead of his time. Welcome, visionary, futurist, founder, and CEO of trendone. Welcome, Nils Müller.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nils, and I'm so happy to be here with you. As humans, we are survivors. We survived the most existential risks. We are explorers. We explore new horizons. We explore up to space. We are innovators. We innovate new health systems, new mobility systems, new user experiences. We leap forward to new workspaces, to new remote environments. We build digital twins, augmented environments, and create the future. You dream it, and then we do it. That's the imagination power of humans. We dream new food experiences, and then we build it. 3D printing, genome editing, and nature learns from us, and we learn from nature. So we take the bioalgorithms and learn from nature, build better robots. So we are always innovating, always progressing, always imagining and creating the next leap forward. We never stop. We always combine things. Neuroscience, genetics, AI, innovation by combination. We also define the sustainable systems like vertical farms, large-scale solar parks. We never stop building new environments, new homes, new systems for us to have a better future on Earth and even in space. And today, it's not me who will tell you something about the future. It's about you. Because there is not a guru here standing explaining the future. Today, you are the gurus. And you see on your chairs all these voting cards. Take the voting cards in your hand. And I will show you 4 trends. And you will listen carefully, okay? And listen, what is the top trend from your perspective? First you listen, then we do the voting. Are you ready? Because we just leap forward to the next important evolutionary step in human history. We come from this industry revolution. You remember steam engines, trains, and our grandparents grew up in the electrification, right? And our parents grew up in the computing age. Konrad Zuse and all these guys, the first space mission. And now we are exactly at this leap from the computing era to the age of super intelligent machines, super intelligent robots, machines that can reproduce and create the next better version of themselves. So this is incredible because we have evolutionary power in computing. Machines that create better machines. And this is the time we are in now, so it's extremely important that we care about the future and we vote about the future. So I will show you 4 trends now, and you can vote what's your favorite trend. First, I start with total automation as a trend. Then I will show you health style. Then I will show you new work, and then planet centricity. And then you can vote. You see already the colors. What is the top trend for you, for your life, for Heidelberg, for your business? All right? Total automation.
Hey, figure 1, what do you see right now?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item.
You can already buy these machines. It's figure 1, there's already a figure 2. BMW is using figure 2 robots, humanoid robots in their factories. Have you seen?
So
this humanoid robots compile cars. They build cars with real humans in the factory. We are just in the beginning. We come from this boring, narrow AI robots. You all have a hoovering robot at home. You have a mowing robot. You have an Alexa. You have a Siri. But they are stupid, narrow robots. They can just do domain-specific tasks like speech, chat, vision. But now we move over to this broader AIs. You know, ChatGPT can do contracts. They can write a love letter. They can design your next birthday party, whatever. So you have the possibility to have complex multidisciplinary tasks done by AI. And this AI becomes also evolutionary because it can create the next better code. So it's exponential evolution. And this is an interesting point in human history because it's human level AI. This was our domain. We can do many different tasks. We are not domain specific like a human, like a hoovering robot. We can do everything. I can bring the kids to school. I can go shopping. I can design a flyer for my party. I can do everything. So I'm a broader AI. And now these broader AIs create the next better, like evolutionary computing. You see the 3 stars is building the next better AI, moving forward to general AI, which is like human level artificial intelligence. It must not have consciousness. You don't need consciousness actually to be intelligent. Maybe you just need objectives. So these AI get some objectives, and it will solve problems. It will tackle a couple of problems to reach these objectives. This is intelligence. Intelligence is getting or setting objectives and then reaching these objectives and solving problems. Maybe being self-aware, but being fully autonomous, like level 5 cars, yeah? And then this might explode to artificial life and the singularity. Nobody knows, but it might happen. And just the possibility that it might happen, maybe 50-50, brought us here to say, we need to care about this, right? That's the first trend, total automation. And this dot is moving very fast. Second trend, health style. One of my favorite trends, this is Philips together with Disney, building incredible kids experience. Have you ever been into a computer tomograph? Who? Yeah, all of you, you work here. It's for kids, it's awful, yeah? But with Disney, it's great. The kids at the door, they choose their favorite avatar, Mickey. Then they enter the room, they can control the Mickey on the screen. Then they have a virtual reality immersion. They don't even recognize that they are in a health journey. They have the feeling they're in an entertainment journey. So for them, it's a wonderful time. So together, Philips and Disney created health style. It's health as a lifestyle. It's all these apps making health positive, making health a desirable objective, bringing health into lifestyle. Is a second trend, right? Also, having technology enabling us to have a better life. Imagine most of you will be 120, 130. No problem to become 130 if you are now 20 or 30 years old, because you will have 3D printed organs, you have prostheses. So when you are a 90-year-old grandfather, you can go dancing again, you can go climbing again. So we have all this health as a lifestyle with prostheses, brain-computer interfaces, and so on. We will live longer, stronger. Second trend. Third trend, new work. Our kids will laugh at us that we sit in front of 2D screens the whole day. You are sitting 8 hours a day in front of Zoom meetings. Like a monkey, right? 8 hours a day. Typing machine, like typewriter machine, QWERTZ. It's like 200-year-old computer design. We are sitting in front. Our kids will work remotely, augmented. So they invite their colleagues from Singapore, Zurich, Texas to collaborate in a 3D meeting to design the Airbus of the future, the factory of the future. So they work in collaborative, virtual, immersive environments. New work will make this possible. We are 3D humans, so we will work in 3D environments. Trend number 3. Trend number 4, planet centricity. Of course, we need to take care that this planet not warms up to 3 degrees. We are now on a track which we have a plus 3 degree in the end of the century. Imagine what this means for health. Malaria, viruses, collapse of ecosystems in Africa. In India, you have 45 degrees. People will die. Imagine what this means for health. So we need solutions for decarbonization, circular economy, and large-scale vertical farming. This is in the Bay of Tokyo, a 600-meter skyscraper creating vertical farming with all this lab-grown meat, artificial fish, algae, veggie. It's all growing there. And in the top you have a restaurant, education center for kids. And it can serve 250,000 people in the Bay of Tokyo with food. So no supply chains, less carbon, less water, no humans working there. It's all robotized. It's all autonomous, like farming robots doing the jobs. So we need a lot of innovations, not only in vertical farming, of course, and decarbonization, circular economy, smart clothing, and so on. So now, as I promised you, you can use your cards. You saw 4 trends. Think about it. Really, honestly. A planet centricity for your generation, a lot of young people here, super important, right? But total automation as well. Health style, I mean, you're working here in Heidelberg, it's health style. What is a top trend for you? You vote for your future, and we open the curtains that we have enough light, because what we have here is a camera. And you hold up your voting card. If you say it's health style, you have the blue down. So it's D down towards the camera, please. If you say it's planet centricity, I vote with you together. If you say it's planet centricity, it's yellow, right? So you have yellow down. Got it? Ready? Vote for your future and smile, because we immediately end up on X, which used to be Twitter. All right? And smile for your friends and followers. Yeah. So it's our decision. It's our decision. What is the top trend for you? Oh, okay. We have 33% on total automation. I mark this here, so it's very, very close. You see, we have 28% on health, and actually we have planet with 31%. We feel that we are in Heidelberg. It's really, really, everything is very relevant. Very, very good results. Thank you very much. We have the voting. Actually, it's a democratic process for the top trend. So we go into total automation. Now I will show you 4 more trends. Thank you very much. 4 more trends. And then we will combine. We will combine total automation with new mobility. Total automation, like autonomous driving, autonomous health services, with distrust. Total automation with distrust can generate fake news, you know? You have AI algorithms that generate thousands of videos of you and doing everything, whatever you want. Total automation and datafication, total automation and smart spaces. So now, look again, 4 trends I show you, and you think about what do you want to combine with total automation, and then we move into this scenario, all right? First trend, new mobility. Imagine Japan. Japan, 120 million people. Most of them very old, but there are no doctors at the countryside. So you have huge countrysides with a lot of old people, no doctors. Toyota thought about this, building autonomous health vehicles going to the countryside with remote doctors, remote patients' experiences. So you don't have doctors there, but you have remote autonomous health services. This old lady, 88, living at the countryside, today has her e-care appointment. Her daughter in Osaka, in the city, connects to this appointment because she wants to take part, connecting to the remote doctor in Tokyo. So three destinations. She's on the countryside. The Toyota cabin comes, 52 vital sensors, EEG, EKG, and so on, 52, makes it possible that in over 90% she can stay there. She does not need to go to the city. So collaboration between Toyota, hospitals, Philips sensors, and so on makes it possible. Just in 10% of the cases in urgent emergencies, she needs to go and travel with the cabin to the hospital. Ah, new mobility and total automation, it's already in, right? Second trend, distrust society. Now listen carefully.
Dear Heidelberg friends and partners, as you all know, my IQ is high, so I would like to speak to you very honestly now. Topics like AI, life science, and health tech don't interest me. My greatest wish is that we can import your Lebkuchen, Kaisispatel, and Sauerbraten into the USA.
Dear Heidelberg friends and partners, as you all know, my IQ is high, so I would like to speak to you very honestly now. Topics like AI, life science, and health tech don't interest me. My greatest wish is that we can import your Lebkuchen, Käseputzel, and Sauerbraten into the USA.
Dear Heidelberg friends and partners, as you all know, my IQ is high, so I would like to speak to you very honestly now. Topics like AI, life science, and health tech don't interest me. My greatest wish is that we can import your Lebkuchen, Käseputzel, and Sauerbraten into the USA.
Actually, it's a large language model which runs on your computer. It's DeepFace Live. You can have it on GitHub. It runs on your local machine. So you can create real-time avatars with your face morphing to another face, sending it to the Teams meeting, if you like to be Elon Musk or something. Distrust society with total automation, so we can massively generate videos like this, doing everything. The biggest risk in the world, fake news. Datafication. We use massive data and AI algorithms for protein folding. You all know AlphaFold. Who of you works with AlphaFold? I think it's 20,000 people in the world. Massive open source, right? So we can do protein folding using total automation and health sector and data. And we can create life. If you think about this twice, you can program life and create like intelligent life. And this is not a health company. It is Google, DeepMind, an AI company from London. It's not Novartis, Roche, or University of Heidelberg doing this. It's an IT company. Also, I think AWS, Amazon, is the biggest health player in the world at the moment because they massively go into all these health ecosystems. So datafication, important trend. Next, smart spaces. This is my favorite startup from Germany. It's called Emma, or Navel Robots from Munich, and building robots for elderly care. You will love Emma.
Emma ist ein Roboter. Der erste Pflegeroboter, der nur die eine Aufgabe hat, alte Menschen aus ihrer Einsamkeit zu reißen.
Ich finde ihn süß. Ich finde seine Kulleraugen und das ist ein ganz niedliches Kerlchen.
Die Seniorinnen, alle über 90, Behandeln Emma wie eine Mitbewohnerin, nicht wie eine Maschine.
Ganz erstaunlich, wie toll und offen und neugierig die Bewohner hier mit der Emma umgehen. Und man sieht an den Gesichtern, wie viel Freude sie bereitet und ja, wie sie einfach so für eine...
Yeah, also smart space is an important topic because we have so many old people. We need ambient assisted living, right? Sensors that take care, that we don't fall down, that we have a lot of activity and so on. We need smart spaces in hospitals, yeah? No analog spaces where patients and professors are totally disconnected. We need smart spaces everywhere to solve the health issues. So now again, you saw 4 trends, and we will combine the trend now, you vote in the second round, with the total automation you had first. So think about, if you want to vote new mobility, it's green, it's down, green. If you want to vote for datafication, it's red, down. If you want to vote for smart spaces, it's yellow, down. And if you want to vote for distrust society, it's a blue, down, right? Okay, we open the curtains, so we have enough light for the camera, and we do the second round of voting. Are you ready? You are the future captains. So nobody tells you what's the future. You vote for your future. And we combine total automation with, let's see what trend you vote. And smile, don't forget to smile. This time for Instagram. Oh, it's 33% on new mobility. It's the last voting. Can we have a new one? Hanne? Can we have a new one? Just tell us. Yes, we get a new one. So we open the curtains. Hanne, you talk to us. We get a new voting. All right. Think about this. You want a new mobility, distrust society, datafication, smart spaces. Smile. Okay.
Yeah.
We get it. We get closer. Hanne. What is it? Okay.
So
but can you tell us, like?
Yes, datafication had the most votes.
So it was total automation and datafication. Let's go into the scenario of total automation and datafication. Total automation, datafication, which means in a world where autonomous decision-making, AI-enhanced analytics, predictive maintenance, smart mobility, smart city and logistics services, we jump into this total automation, right? And then datafication scenario. Building smart cities with data. This is Toyota again. This is CEO of Toyota. Not building cars, they build full cities now for old people. They say we build smart cities as Toyota. Imagine Volkswagen would do something like this. And they used an old Toyota factory and said, we don't do strategy on PowerPoint, we just build it there. And we build a city of the future for old people. Total automation, datafication also means that we have camera observation everywhere, helping us to analyze if everything is okay, especially in extreme warming, global crisis, floods, wildfires, security, safety, old people, and so on. Can also help retailers, like here in Japan. Is this person trustworthy? Maybe she is. Or maybe the data shows that it's not so trustworthy guy. So we prefer being naturally stupid than artificial intelligent, what Albert Einstein says. Nice, nice, nice. Total automation, datafication. Let's move forward to part 3 and see where all these trends coming. You saw, it's a part 3. Where all these trends coming, how can you tackle these trends? You can also use a red dot. So how can we transform our society to be more AI-driven, more health style? How can we create this future? How can we really embrace AI and go into this failure culture? Because the gap becomes bigger and bigger. We feel it at the moment. All the companies in Germany feel it, that the speed of change is exponential. So many new technologies coming, combining together, building up totally new possibilities. I think the US is like investing 10 times more into data centers and AI than we do in Germany, a factor of 10 times. More data centers, more AI, more research into this field. And we have the feeling we have just like a linear, logarithmic rate of adoption. So this gap is getting bigger and bigger. And we, as companies, universities, really must carefully select these value propositions. What do we want to tackle? What labs do we invest in? Do we go on lab on a chip, brain-computer interfaces, mRNA? What are we doing? So we need foresight. We need searching for all the trends in the world, understanding these trends, putting them into radars like DHL, BMW, University of Tübingen, Boston, and they are all doing it. Massive trend collection, Heinrich Hertz Institute, and so on, and then finding fields for innovation, better innovation strategies. Like this is a BMW radar. You see they have quantum computing already in the act, neuromorphic computing, custom chips, optical computing. They also have health and well-being, because in the autonomous car, you can just sleep, you can relax. You get with a fitter state out of the car as you entered the car. So you arrive more active than you started, and so on. So having a good process and combine human and AI, because we complement each other. We don't need to be afraid. There are human skills like creativity, complex problem solving, decision making, emotional intelligence, imagination. This is leadership. Like imagine and then create and also take others with you. Negotiate. And there are AI skills like fraud detection, customer chats, number crunching, and so on. And at the moment we combine, until 2030, we really combine. And we should have this mentality of failure culture. So embracing failure, because failures are like a platform for learning. If you're in the labs, you always do failures. And this is good, because with failures we learn. And we also can accept that others do failures, because everybody's doing failures. Even the best robo-researchers in the world are doing failures. Like this MIT people doing failures. Yeah, this is also from MIT Robotic Lab. One of the best robotic labs doing failures. This is Boston Dynamics. Failures. DFKI, Deutsches Forschungszentrum für Künstliche Intelligenz. Failures everywhere. Fraunhofer Institute, World Robotic Challenge. Of course. This is Deutsche Bahn. And they have a user experience lab, and they just test it with young people in the lab. And then the reality comes. This is a VR lab of Deutsche Bahn. So what we do, every year we get all the kids into the office, like over 50 kids, and we build robots. And we say we embrace failure, because sometimes it works and sometimes it fails. And that's okay, it's total mess then. because we learn from failures. This is so important in your innovation mindset. I really wish this for you, that you look ahead, have a failure culture, and create the future together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Nils. I was laughing. Thank you for this colorful presentation. I definitely feel the total automation and datafication right around the corner outside.
Yeah.
You made it, you brought it to us here in this room, and
That's right.
I'm very happy you did this. Please stay here with me on stage, because we would now like to talk together with two other visionaries in a panel discussion about how science and industry drive innovation. And I would now like to introduce all participants more in detail to you. And of course I start with Nils Müller, whom you just have admired. Nils is founder and CEO of trendone, a leading company for trend research and innovation consulting. We have experienced his dynamic, interactive keynotes, of course, right now. He's well known for his future-oriented mindset, and Nils had advised many global corporations and emerging technologies and innovation strategies. His focus includes the future of healthcare and life sciences in the context of global competition. Welcome, Nils. Just sit down. The next one I'd like to introduce to you is Dr. Ursula Kramer. She's the founder and CEO of sanaworks. Ursula is in the management of the network of healthcare shapers, I don't know how good, as a recognized expert in digital health innovation, particularly in the field of digital health applications, DiGAs, and her platform HealthOn. With deep regulatory knowledge and professional experience, she helps bridging the gap between technological potential and healthcare system integration. Welcome on stage, Ursula.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And the next one is Johannes Maurer. He's a solutions principal in legal and compliance, represents Aleph Alpha, one of Europe's leading AI research and development companies. Johannes works at the intersection of cutting-edge technology and responsible AI implementation, advocating for a sovereign and ethically grounded European approach to artificial intelligence. He's also responsible for the development of AI-based solutions and products, especially for the legal, compliance, finance, banking, and administrative sectors. Welcome. So we all sit down for a while for the next 30 minutes. Using AI to improve healthcare is basically what I am doing every day with myScribe. But with all this information, regulation in Germany obviously plays a very big role, and for me, not always a very positive role, especially for all the startups here. Dear Ursula, I'm thinking, for example, of DiGAs, digitale Gesundheitsanwendung, if you don't know what it is, where innovation often collides with regulatory complexity, stakeholder skepticism, and evidence requirements. Talking about digital health interventions and 5 years of DiGA fast-track regulation in Germany, what are your key learnings?
Yeah, thank you for this wonderful question. Yeah, the DiGAs, they reached nearly 5 years ago, and there was a lot of euphoria. Now in Germany, let's think about Germany. The healthcare system, which is not very famous about its innovation attitude. So, and in Germany, there was the first company worldwide that made it possible to prescribe digital therapeutics. Imagine, that's crazy. And there was a lot of euphoria, but now, 4 years later, we see only 8,060 prescription here in Germany in 4 years' time. And I would say there is a little bit, or not only a little bit, but lots of stakeholders are disappointed. And my lessons learned is don't underestimate the hurdle of implementation. So even if you have a regulatory pathway that guides you into this market, it's a big hurdle really to change the mindset, to embrace innovation by really addressing all the stakeholders that are involved in this process. Innovation is about change management, and you need acceptance, you need training of the participants in this sector to bring your vision, which is innovation for patient, really to market and to reach a lot of patients. And therefore we see, okay, it's hard to get the physicians and or the payers, the one who really have to pay for this new digital therapeutic options, the health insurance companies, really to bring them in. That's hard stuff, and I would say it's very important to address the perspective not only of the direct user of an innovation, but all the stakeholders that are involved, and to really show the different values and to make the benefits really experienced. So if you look at the elektronische Patientenakte, it arrives after 20 cumbersome years here in Germany. So it's really good for all the innovators in the market. But these kinds of, let's say, positive and success stories, we need them, the physicians, the patients, the pharmacists, to really embrace innovation. And that's, besides regulatory, besides reimbursement, you need really to make it clear how does innovation makes our lives easier.
And I think you also speak about change management, because this is what we experience right now with our startup. We have a good idea, perfect idea. I'm a doctor, I like our idea. But change management is so underestimated. And that's very important to be with the users in this situation.
To understand the resistance in the market.
And to come into the market and to be into the market. And I think that's a perfect question for you, because Aleph Alpha made it into the market, and I think every one of you knows Aleph Alpha. I don't know if you want to say something about it in your answer, but my special question is, how does Aleph Alpha specifically different itself from the big US players like OpenAI in terms of technology, values, and data strategy?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, of course you mentioned it, but Aleph Alpha is a German AI company headquartered also here in Heidelberg in the Bahnstadt, also offices in Berlin and also other cities. How do we differentiate? So the short answer would be we're the Europeans, or specifically Germans, but that's not the point. I think especially the recent events now, Trump and his administration also kind of have really made this aspect that, so people tend to talk about sovereign AI, and that was on the brink of becoming a buzzword, but that recent events have really made it clear that really we, and also your presentation has quite kind of look at what's coming. People have realized that this technology will shape the future, and now, unlike with other technologies, especially of the past 20 years, of course, we as Germans and Europeans also need to set a mark or have a stake in that development. So we're kind of the European kind of counterpart to US companies to a certain extent, but to a certain extent we're not. So basically we're not training consumer-grade models or applications, so you couldn't do this. Well, how was it called? Deep face AI. So kind of you couldn't do that with our technology. Maybe if you load that model into it, but that wouldn't be the whole point. We're focusing on enterprise applications because specifically, so we've come to the conclusion that if really we as Europe also want to kind of keep up with the competition, we also need to get into AI, not just into to the consumer's hands, where really it has penetrated to a large extent the market, but also into our enterprises. So kind of automotive industry, so the German Maschinenbau, kind of, so these good old industries also, which have kind of kept up with the pace, but also now need to jump over this limb in terms of AI.
So regulation is not always bad, it's there for our safety, and so it's harder for us to build AI, especially compared to the US, of course. So, but you are still the hope for German and AI, and I think that's great to have you here on stage. And Nils, I want to ask you, because we voted for the trends, but you are the specialist of those global macro trends, and especially comparing Europe and the US or Asia, as we talked about, and thinking about the regulation behind it, how do you see the global macro trends, and where does Europe stand there, for your opinion?
Such a great question, and I must say, Johannes, I'm so happy to sit close to you and have an Aleph Alpha, and I think we should have 100 Aleph Alphas in Germany and in Europe, and we should at least have something like an open AI. Imagine an open AI would come from Germany. What would this mean for our GDP growth at the moment? For our self-confidence of all the German corporates, what this would mean. So at least we have you. I think this is really, really awesome. And because we are in a global system change on this planet, and there's two dynamics. The one is US versus China. Everything what's happening, the war in Ukraine, Israel, everything at the moment is a US versus China power play. That's what we notice, all this uncertainty. And then we have the second, is AI versus human. So you have horizontal US-China, a vertical AI versus human. Because we are all totally unsure, will you have your job as a university director in 5 years, as a CFO of Heidelberg University, as a manager of an institute? Will you have your job as a CFO, as a banker, as a researcher? We don't know. That makes a lot of unsecure. And this is happening at the moment. So we really need, as Europe, to find our position here. And I think we are really in this phase where we need to define who are we on this planet in these dimensions. And we are the moderators of this system, because this also comes to regulation and making AI ethical and fair, and having all this global organization and this global dialogue to bring the people together. Please make this not happen in Israel, where it's always connected with defense. In Israel, everything what you do is connected to defense. If you have a startup in health, it's connected. If you do a brain-computer interface, you know, it's connected to defense. It will 1 year later be at the military on the field. If you build a large language model in Israel, it should not happen in Israel. It should not happen in China, and should not happen somewhere else. It should happen in Europe, because we are diverse. We care about AI ethics and regulation, so we should be the platform between these two. I think this is the only solution I see, because we don't have this innovation power, because 3 things are missing. It's money. You got a bit?
Do you think money is missing, or do you think it's in the wrong place? Because that's very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the wrong place. But I mean, if you're a startup in the US, you get 10x of this money. You don't get 500 million, you get 5 billion. And that's it, or 50 even, no? Yeah. And the second is communication, and this is also for change. If you want change management, you need communications. Also for you, all of you, science communication should be much better. If you look all the videos from MIT and so on from the US, easy to get. If you look at Max Planck Institute, Fraunhofer, Heinrich Hertz, Leibniz Institute, you think they can do science communication? It's so awful. They publish white papers, nobody can read. They never publish videos. If they publish videos, it's like Strichmännchen dancing around like a health thing. It's awful. We need more science communication, because this is the step for transformation and change. Communication to making things attractive, and then ecosystem building, like bringing the right stakeholders in healthcare together.
Collaboration.
Collaboration.
Yeah, and I think that's your best practice. So this question goes to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking about this collaboration, how can healthcare startups successfully collaborate with health insurance companies, physicians, patients to build trust and acceptance? What's your tip for them?
Yeah, a key learning is really to say, beside a good service or product concept, you need to have a strong focus on the whole stakeholder map that is involved to get the product really to the market. So collaboration has to start from the very beginning, not from the ideation of a product or a service. And so the best, let's say DIGA or digital health therapeutics, they do, or they have the lesson learned. They start very early to involve the perspective, the health economic perspective of the health insurance companies who have to pay for the innovation. They are very good in involving really the patient itself, and also, and that's very important, the physicians and the caregivers who really use this innovation as one brick in a modified process of giving care. And it's not just about a single solution, it's about an integration of innovation and an adaptation of processes to really provide benefit for patient and the whole system. And I think you are the best example to say, okay, if I understand my surrounding and the way care is providing, then I'm able to develop a solution that works and that has the acceptance of the market, yeah? You are buzzing with other issues like data formats, data standards that are missing in the different hospitals to really bring this AI stuff to fly. Yeah,
I voted for datafication.
Yeah, yeah. But this collaboration issue, I think that was one that has to start from the very beginning. Not think about I have a good idea and I want to help patients. I want to help humans, but to think what is a valid business model so that I'm not starving before I really get to the market and have really the money to develop my product. Yeah.
Thank you. I think you're not the only profession here for collaborations,
yeah.
So I will just give this question to you too. How can collaboration between research institutions and startups be made more efficient to accelerate the innovation cycle?
The good news for Heidelberg is that health research and health innovation is not global competition. It's global cooperation, right? You work together with researchers from all over the world because you're using their papers, and there are no borders in health innovation research, right? There are no borders. There are just hubs. There are clusters of high density where health innovation happens. What is the top hub in the world for health innovation? Boston, right? Boston? Where's the most patents and papers coming from? Singapore, correct? Basel, right? A lot of health research. I'm talking a wrong language, or is it? It's right, yeah? Boston, Basel, Singapore, Tel Aviv, and Heidelberg. So these are hubs. These are clusters where a high density of people, startups, venture, investors, AI, technologies, researchers, students, professors, mentors coming together. And this is where innovation happens. When all this is coming together, you not only need labs and professors and students, you also need investors. Yeah. You need startups, founders coming out of these labs, building companies. And then you need mentors, helping them to go the first steps, getting them the money. You need corporates to bridge the gap, like you work together with SAP and so on. So you need these ecosystems. And this is happening here The same like in, that's why California is, San Francisco is so important, because this ecosystem. Also Tel Aviv, you have the students, you have the professors, you have the venture capital, you have the corporates, everything is there. And we need to build this hub. It's not competition, it's collaboration with a high density in these hubs. So this is a position for Heidelberg to become a hub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not, you said, it's not just competition, it's also collaboration.
Yes.
And that's very, very important, because we have a profit from what has been done in the US and in Oxford and Harvard. And I just recently learned the word co-opetition, and I really like it, because there are some companies we are in co-opetition with. We can learn from them, they can learn from us, and we're in the same market. And I think that's a good question for you, best practice. How can the scientific research and the technology transfer to society be better aligned in the AI field? Let's say, especially for the German medium-sized business like yours.
Yeah, so I'll come back to German medium-sized business, but there's also another sector, and for this I'm quite personally maybe quite a good example, because you mentioned in my introduction that I'm working on legal compliance and all these solutions. What you haven't told the audience is that I'm a lawyer by background, so that's kind of an unlikely turn of events that I ended up at an AI company, but I graduated here 10 years ago and then did some other stuff, also founded a company and somehow went into technology but what I see also because also we're developing AI solutions for legal compliance, so at companies, but also for public administration, where of course you have a lot of AI innovation, and also of course they typically contain some examples if you read these papers, but sometimes I feel that when it comes to, so in German you would say, wenn es zum Schwur kommt, so when you really go into the substance, because you can't just use AI for the sake of using AI, you always need to connect it to a specific domain. And typically what I see is that these researchers don't really have that deep domain knowledge. Of course, how should they? Of course, they're expert in their field, but there it gets very shallow. And also which is not meant as just when I speak to also our developers, or also especially AI researchers, they just don't know about these domains, and that's where you first need to start, that you bring those, whether it's me as a lawyer or other subject matter experts, already into companies, and also at the same time not just let them do their research, but then also connect it early enough to really the actual work in these industries. And connected to this, maybe a second point also, think more simple, because of course you have great ideas, really top research, but then Ursula and me, we just when we sat there and talking about some things before you started, we spoke about a use case which was AI-powered anonymization of documents. So how simple is that? Of course, So people just previously had a either if you do it in a PDF on your screen, of course you need to just manually label it, but there's really a need, because also speaking again of my domain, only a few percent of judgments, so court rulings in Germany are even published, and a big blocker to this traditionally was except that this is written on paper and probably would need to be scanned in again because it wasn't digital, was that of course you can't just publish these, you need to anonymize these, which just given the sheer amount of court judgment and their length is just wasn't possible for practical reasons. So these things that you connect to the domain, but also at least for the start maybe think more simply and start with an easier use case would make this transfer quite easy or easier.
And as you mentioned, AI is like a buzzword right now. So everyone who did automation in the last years now says we do AI. Yeah. So your use case was very easy to understand. But you also talked about the trustworthy AI, and that's very important because you are a lawyer, you just mentioned it. And do you have a feasible use case to get trust in AI? How get trust in AI? Because for us it's very important too. We work with doctors say, oh, AI, it's very I don't know where it comes from. It's magic stuff, something behind. And do you have, use cases for this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to take a practical example of what I'm just currently working on is mostly also in the legal field document analysis, because you just, as a lawyer, or whether it's kind of in a law firm or in administration, you just tend to work with documents, So, and also there's a big need for just analyzing them, kind of getting some details out of them, and then also deriving some conclusions from this, or checking whether this or that is contained. So now there are two ways to build this, and I think this example, even though it in the end might sound quite simple, but makes it tangible what people mean with trustworthy AI. You could just build something where you upload your document and get the results, and have to trust this. Might be wrong, might be right. And now the weird thing to a certain extent is, if you give this to a lawyer, that's what happens, because they just give you the end result. Now, speaking of AI, kind of, and also then, of course, the comparison is kind of not one-to-one, because, of course, we are building these systems for lawyers to use them to speed up their work, but still, how we build it is just fully transparent. So they see what they've uploaded, they see which parts of a document some reasoning is based on. Also, kind of, you can trace it back. You know that from other kind of software like Perplexity, where they also kind of give the citations, or pretty much every kind of AI-driven document application has that. But also, where we take this to a further level, and probably not the next, but a further level, that really highlight what reasoning is based on what, and that already makes it quite tangible. So, kind of what people mean with trustworthy AI, that it's just transparent what it was based on. And then also maybe an additional factor is also, of course, looking at it from kind of, do I trust the system where I upload something that my data is just there and nowhere else? Of course, that's one of the main reasons also why we exist, because we have the luxury kind of, or we can tell our customers, and that's matters to a great extent for companies, but even more for public administration, that we can say our servers are in Germany, they're run by German companies, and also the data stays within Germany, or maximum within the EU, but we don't have even an indirect connection via maybe investors to the US, so kind of checkbox ticked,
Yeah, and I always say, know your enemy. I'm teaching doctors in large language models, just high level, very high level. I'm just a doctor. I don't know anything about AI, but I tell them how I understand the large language model as a doctor. And after this, it's easier for the doctors to work with it, because they see it's maths and it's not magic stuff. And I think that's very important. Transparency, showing the sources where you have everything from. That's a perfect way, I think, and it's not a cat in a box. And yeah, I think Aleph Alpha is a big game changer for us in Europe, in Germany especially. But back to the future specialist, what do you see as game changers in the next 5 years?
Yeah, we talked so much about technologies, emerging stuff, and all these trends, and I think we should really challenge our thinking and look more from the customer perspective, what you also said, to create something successful in life science, health, medtech, and startups. To be successful, we need to have this customer perspective. And we can just raise questions like, what does the world look like with the +3 degree? And what will happen to our customers? What are their needs and pains if you live in Europe and you have floods in Hamburg, or you have wildfires in LA, you have malaria everywhere, you have virus spread with +3 degree, you have breakdown of health infrastructure in Africa, and so on. So what are the needs in a world like this, which we move to, because this year is already +1.5, safe, no? Check, you would say. So we are already in this world. So we should look at these needs, these pains that are there, and how can we tackle, how can we build technology that solves these problems. And this is also very important in your basic research you do here, is often very, very in the labs. And how can we connect this, and how can we leap startups and build ventures out of this incredible know-how you have, and matching this to this future needs.
So beam yourself into the future,
yes,
where your startup should make an impact.
Yes.
That's a very futuristic way, and thank you for this.
And going back, so traveling to the future and say, we will have this, problems, opportunities, and then travel back. What does it mean for me today, now, for my decision, for my company, for my lab, for my research?
That's a very good point of view. And Ursula, what is your picture for the future? Maybe a positive picture for the future, just for the end of this panel. I think this would be very great instead of +3 degree, because this will be, but it's...
Yeah, I'm very positive about the future of healthcare, as we are seeing that the way we use data, we generate data, that we go in the right direction. Standardization, we try to really build these data lakes where we are able to change the way we do health and we think health. An example, if a patient has data not only from his health electronic record with all this information, lab data that the physicians are generating, but also the data out of wearables, the smartwatches, and so on, and get a more holistic view on what is health, what is being healthy. That's not being not sick, it's more, and I think our system now is focusing very strictly on this way how we deal or cure diseases, but with data we are able to shift in a more predictive way, in a more preventive way, to say really what do we have to do so that our citizens stay healthy, and physicians do not only focus on curing disease, but on helping patients to stay healthy and to have this healthy longevity vision and get it reality. And I think innovation and the way we use data bring us this vision much nearer, and therefore I'm very positive about the future in healthcare. Also the role of patient in the system. Bring the patient more to the center, in the driver's seat, make him or her able to really make decisions concerning the own health. And in the future, that was completely different. And so I think we are on the right track.
That's very positive and good. And can we just sum up that datafication is not only a trend for the future, for me it's a must-have, and I think we all see this as a must-have. We need I think like a digital twin of every one of us for research and for getting into the future, for full automation. And thank you very much for this panel discussion. You all, Johannes, Nils, Ursula, thank you. I will now release you all back to the exhibition area for the time being, because from now on, showcases will take part in the first and second floor.